Hey everyone, my name is Lance, and this is Amped about Aimpad, where I take a specific game that I want to play, use it playing the Aimpad, and give you a better understanding of how it actually benefits you in specific games. Before I do that, since this is the first episode of Amped about Aimpad, I'd like to kind of show you what's kind of happening behind the scenes with Aimpad. So, if you take a look here, this is the game controller option in Windows, and so like if you go to Properties, you can see here this shows the traditional like joystick properties of a normal gamepad. So as I'm moving the arrows here, so like see I can push down here and push down here slightly on the Aimpad. As I'm doing that, the same adjustment happens on the screen here, so you can see kind of what's happening. So it's full joystick access, the X and Y axis of a joystick, and also I have the Z axis that I have programmed right now on our prototype with these two buttons up here. So that's pretty much the basic layout of what's happening behind the scenes and why it's so easy for games to work without very much effort, because as long as the game supports some type of joystick, the game's going to work with the Aimpad. So what I'm going to do for this first episode is use Unreal Tournament 2004. It's a classic game, works fantastic with the Aimpad, and I'll show a couple of things that I think is pretty important. So the reason why I like Unreal Tournament is because not only is it a twitch shooter, which you kind of need your traditional keyboard reaction times. So basically when I'm using the keyboard here, you can see you want to move as fast as you can to dodge people and move around, and one common thing you want to do is double tap so you can dodge those rockets that are coming at you or things like that. If I'm using the Aimpad, it does the exact same thing. I can move it as fast as I want and still have the immediate response, and I can still double tap and dodge just like I would using a keyboard. So from a first-person shooter perspective on a Twitch shooter, Aimpad works just as well as a keyboard because it acts pretty much exactly like a keyboard. But I can have the added functionality when I'm trying to do something with a vehicle. So this one, the Manta, is probably not the best example because your steering actually usually happens with wherever your mouse is aiming, so you don't really get the benefit using that vehicle. But say something like using the Scorpion, where you can actually fine-tune the adjustment. So I'll bring this in a little bit so you can see. Using the keyboard here first, if I press the D key and I turn, it's a full-on blast turn. If I do the A key, full blast on turning, right? No adjustment. But using the Aimpad, if I do a small adjustment here, I can look up here and I can make small adjustments of how far down I'm pushing the button and it's how much I'm going to turn. So that kind of translates when I'm playing the game. I can push down the accelerator just a small amount and move a small amount, or crank it on and go full on blast. But steering with it is night and day compared to a keyboard. So if I switch here to the keyboard for a second, you can see when I turn, it's like cranking that steering wheel. So you're constantly doing actions like this, where you're tapping and tapping, and I want to make a turn and I tap and I tap. So it's a constant tapping, and it doesn't feel realistic. The way you drive a car, you don't like crank the steering wheel every time you turn. You kind of just turn it a little bit. So when I switch back over to the Aimpad, I can turn just a slight amount, and it feels more like you're driving a car. So I don't feel like I have to totally crank that wheel just to make a turn. It's just a slight more organic experience, or more tangible connection to the game that you're playing. So it's a much more realistic experience, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for with the Aimpad experience. Is you want it to feel like you're a part of the game, like you're actually making this car turn, not pushing a button randomly that makes you do abrupt changes. So that's one really significant difference. Another cool thing is a little subtle here, but when you want to turn, or I guess when you're moving in using the keyboard, it's pretty much these 8 directions: forward, back, left, and right. and then the diagonals of each of those. It's very subtle, but you can kind of tell when I am running straight using the Aimpad here. If I slightly push the right button down, I'm actually moving at a different trajectory than just a 45-degree angle. So it's more like a 25 and a 30-degree angle if I go a little bit more, and then I'm getting that exact 45. And then I can back off the forward key a little bit, and I'm moving at more of a 50-degree or 60-degree angle. So in this particular game, it's probably not that important because pretty much you're going to be going as fast as you can, but it doesn't limit you using this. Whereas if you're using, like, say you want to do a hybrid situation of an Xbox 360 controller or something like that in one hand, double tapping with that is a nightmare on this, because you're like tap 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 tap, and it just doesn't feel very good, and it's kind of hard to consistently do that double tap direction on a joystick, but it's really easy on the Aimpad. So that kind of just gives you an idea of why I think it's kind of a groundbreaking product to use, and hopefully it gets you a little excited about using Aimpad in games. If you guys have any suggestions on what games you'd like me to try out with the Aimpad and what you can benefit by doing so, just let me know. Drop a line in the comments, or just give me some feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. That was first episode of Amped About Aimpad. Looking forward to talking to you more.